I guess we'll start with the good news, and I like to start with the what and the data for those of you who are logical thinkers versus the emotional side of things. Our numbers just for the month of September, the 5 of us had 1,210 incoming leads. From those incoming leads, we set 246 appointments. 202 of those were kept. The 25 sales we can attribute to the month of September, but we can't necessarily attribute those to those, as you know, to those leads because it's a longer sales cycle. When we're working with Do You Convert, they kind of look at things as a direct conversion, and they always have to go, oh, that's right, you guys have a longer sales cycle. So I just wanted to point out a couple of percentages. 82% of our appointments were kept, which is awesome. And sometimes it doesn't feel like that because I tend to dwell on the ones that don't show up when y'all message me and go, oh, they didn't show. I almost take that personally because I'm like, oh man, what are they doing? Why didn't they show up? But we're actually at an overall of 83% so far for the year. Our goal is 90%, so that's what we're working towards. And I've got a couple of tips how you guys can help us on that. Also, of all the leads, 17% of all of this month's leads were converted to appointments. So that's a pretty good percentage of what we're getting in. That's how many we're actually getting through the door to you. And then when you look at it, 2% of those leads became sales. So that's a lot of contacts to get 2% of sales to you guys. Every one of these 1,210 leads we have reached out to at least once until we get contact back from them. Some of them we're still reaching out to them. They're getting emails, phone calls, constant follow-up until we get something back.
And if I may interject just briefly to put it even bigger perspective, to get 1,210 leads, we need 44,000 new web visitors per month to get that.
Yes,
Wow.
and from our training, Dawn is doing an awesome job with our website. Good conversion of your visitors to an actual lead is like 1.5%. Some months we're getting 3%, which is huge. So what she's doing with our website, and then our new website should probably generate more leads of what we're going to be doing.
You mentioned the conversion ratio. What, or percentage, what is the percentage of, like, that's your goal? What's the goal for leads versus appointments made?
Our goal is to convert 20% of our leads to appointments.
Okay.
And I think we're at 34% right now, if I'm correct. I'd have to double check that for you though.
Okay.
No, we're at 17%.
17, yeah, you said 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on our way.
I'll check the report because that tells us really quickly. Okay, so here's what we're doing on our side. And the way I'm going to throw this at you is we're going to set them up. It's your job to knock them down, basically. Here's what goes on once somebody commits to an appointment. As you know, we immediately set an appointment with you on your Outlook calendar. I have to side note here and tell you that I have done on-site sales, and the fact that you guys allow us to just control your calendar like that, I very much appreciate. I know it's got to be tough to have someone else coming in and just grabbing your calendar, sometimes at a moment's notice, and I know that that is a difficult thing when you're trying to walk in and plan your day. So I personally appreciate that y'all are open to that and working with us on it. I try to give you as much heads up as I can, and I'll call you if it's a last minute deal. Immediately, we're also sending a confirmation email to the customer, and you've seen this because we copy you on it. So it says, hi, John, your appointment is with Michelle at 10 o'clock on Monday. It gives all the information. It gives your contact information. We're copying you on this in order for you to help knock them down, which is in the next step, which makes it depends on the situation. We are typically sending a reminder. I actually found when I was sending people text reminders, I was having more cancellations because I think that was kind of an out for them. So we're working on adjusting that. I did bring that up to our consultants, and her tip was maybe to give them a call instead, because then that is a little bit more accountability versus a text message where someone can say, oh, nope, can we change this? I can't be there. So that's something that at least I personally am adjusting right now. And then the day after, we are verifying the appointment with you. And 2 days after that, we send out a customer courtesy email. So you may have seen this. If you've done something good that the customer has come back with, I will try to send that back to you and say, hey, look, this was their response. This is not a gotcha kind of thing. This is just something that Do You Convert wants us to do to kind of close that loop on our side. And the email says, hope your appointment went well. Michelle will be your contact person from now going forward. And it kind of is supposed to re-cement the fact that they don't need to contact us anymore. They're now with you. So if that's how we are setting them up, this is how we're asking that you knock them down. So if you can immediately respond to that email that you've been CC'd on. And I think Pat sent out kind of a template. I have a trick that I can show you in Outlook because my life is templates, and I can show you a really easy way to send this out if you haven't already got one. I mean, everybody's got their way of doing it, but I've got a tip for that if you'd like. If you can call them, that's huge, because then you can get that excitement continued, where you can kind of pick up where we've left off. And that's what I tell our customers when I'm talking to them and I'm setting the appointment. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. We've talked about all this. When you go in, this is going to save you time, because now you can pick up with them where you've left off with me. And so that's why we send a bunch of notes in the appointment invitation, so that you know what all we've talked about. So if you can call them, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a quick conversation. Hey, I'm excited to meet you, just confirming your appointment, or however you want to say it. The email, I would say, is probably the most important thing, because I will tell you that is being tracked on our reports on our side. So we are just kind of watching and making sure that we're looking at our numbers and seeing why appointments are maybe not showing up, and that's one of the data points that we're tracking. Day of, again, the appointment reminder call and text, that's not as important. If you've already made that call and introduced yourself, that's starting to be overkill. And
I would suggest, if it's 3 or 4 days away, I would really ask that you call them the day before, and for that, for your day as well as theirs, because nothing worse than sitting there waiting for somebody who's not going to show up.
right.
And they might forget. And accountability, like you said. So.
And that goes into the why, which is going to be my next kind of point that I wanted to talk about and share with you. But then the last one, and this one also super, super important, is to verify the appointment with us. That's another thing that we're kind of tracking, is making sure that we're getting that information back to you. However you want to do it, send me a jabber, send a quick, all you have to do is say, John showed up. That's it. If you want to give us notes, sometimes we've already formed that relationship. It's always nice to know if it went well or not. But if you don't have time, you're busy, I get it, and this is not what you want to be spending your time on. Just send us a quick email or a jabber, like I said, and say they showed up or they did not show up. So this is something, when I was kind of looking at the training, we did like a 40-minute training on the handoff itself from when we went through our 30-day. And I really liked what Mike Lyon, who is the consultant with Do You Convert, said. This is from your point of view, this is my best opportunity today to create a sale. And I thought about that. And even if I know we send sometimes people that are not 100% qualified, we're trying to make a fan, what I kind of look at it is, I'm not going to be the one to say no to somebody. I'm trying to get them through your doors. So I'm qualifying them, and I'm trying to get y'all good qualified appointments. But at the same time, if somebody's super excited to get in the doors and see the models, I'm not going to tell them no. So it's my job to get them into you. At least you know that going forward. You could have somebody walk in the door totally unqualified, spend an hour with them, and it kind of wastes your time. At least if we know that, okay, well, they don't have land yet, but they do want to come in and start put a timeline together. At least you know that. And so I just kind of like, now of course, again, this is coming from like subdivision tract home sales, where the day they walk in, they might buy a home. So we all know that that's a little bit different with us. So why do I have to do this? And I just wanted to reiterate again, I know you guys are busy. I know this is like 3 more steps of stuff. You've already given over your calendars to us. You've given the phones to us. And now we're asking you to do even more. But the number one reason I would say for this for you is, So yes, we have blocked off 2 hours of your time in the day. If you call them, if you email them, if you reach out to them, you're more guaranteeing that they are going to show up. Versus if this chunk of time is blocked out of your day and then we don't have those contact points, the chances that they might not show up are higher. So it kind of helps cement your schedule and make sure that that's not time wasted for you. So that's really it. I'm trying to keep it as quick as I can because I know that, and I don't know if this is going to work for me right now because I wanted to show you something else, but I can't find the mouse.
You're good on time, so
Okay.
and
Okay.
this is important stuff.
So this is what I wanted to show y'all. So this is our gold mine, I guess. That's your customers.
This is your CRM.
Yeah, my CRM. So this is an example of a sale, and I just want y'all to know why we want the level to be up here and why that initial email and why that initial phone call is so important. So this is a gentleman that I spoke with. He registered on September 1st, and you can see these are the official activities that I did. Phone call, email, phone call, email, email. But here's where the history kind of starts, is back here. And it started with me leaving a message for him, which I've got all my little abbreviations in here. But he called me back and we spoke for 24 minutes, and he had questions about how to do this process. He's telling me what his current situation is, what they want. He thought he wanted this plan, ended up suggesting this plan, back and forth. Still wouldn't set an appointment because he had some things he needed to line out. He had to get power taken care of, wanted to get his well taken care of. Still hadn't finalized even the purchase of the land. So then a couple of emails back and forth with more questions. Then on my 2 days off, he left me a voicemail on each day. So he's like, now he wants answers. And of course, they're my 2 days off. So call him back the next day and finally set the appointment. Then, this was actually with Nydia up in McKinney.
Hey.
She sent him an email and said, hey, nice. All she did was copy that on the confirmation email that I sent and copied her on. She replied all and just said, thank you, Carolyn. Here's my information, looking forward to meet you. She gives them driving directions, however you want to personalize it. But then what was interesting about that, and I don't have yes, right here, duplicate merge, this is where his wife comes in. So now she's come into our website, she's registered, we pull her in. They don't know this, they don't know that we're combining their accounts, but we do. And you can see then the web activity, it's kind of creepy, but they have had 719 total page views on our website from the time they signed up to the time, and you can see this is after their appointment. If you're in, it is fascinating. You can see what time they're on. You can see if they're on our website at 2 a.m, not being able to sleep because you're so excited. But yeah, so you can see everything they've done. So that's the level of excitement. And you can see, sometimes it's funny, they'll go on every single page that, ever there was on the website. But so she comes in and then they attend their appointment. So are these people excited? Are they ready to go? Are they informed? Yes. Now, this is a perfect scenario, and of course that's what I'm going to show you. But that's the why. And that's why it's so important to pick up from us that level of excitement, because we're doing a lot of work on the back end if it's a good prospect like this, that if you can pick it up, it makes it easier for you, and it gets a sale for both of us. So, I hesitate. Any questions about the process or anything that we're doing?
I'd be interested to see your little template, because I have a template too, but I find a lot of time. I know you can always create time, but I always feel like, I'm running out of time.
Yes.
I don't have time to send this email.
Yes. Okay.
And
So
my template still takes longer than I would like.
you got it. So that's right here.
And while she's looking that up, I will reiterate the handoff process of making sure that us on site I would definitely email immediately if it's not your day off. If it is your day off,
Yes.
it's a way as assist a can, and then a phone call, yes, and be sure that in the phone call be careful not to go down the road of, oh, let's answer all the questions. Like, you don't want to steal the thunder of the appointment, right? Okay, hey, I was one, okay, I get it. I love the sound of my own voice, okay? So just, hey, I'm between appointments right now. I just want to call and reach out. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday. I'll probably call one more time and follow up, depending on, like Pat said, the timing. And then Georgetown's a perfect example, Melissa's a perfect example, but we can all do it. Just say, call the day before. Hey, just want to be sure you know it's exit XYZ. You're going to U-turn. We're under construction right now in Bernie. Actually, all y'all's offices. Explicit details. So there's no reason not to call out one more time and say, hey, I was thinking about you. I'm looking forward to our appointment. Looking forward to talking about. And then when they show up, do what you said you're going to do. In other words, have the plans pulled. You said we were talking about. Like, it should not be a surprise when they get there. It ought to be, you know, the red carpet's rolled out. Let's go with the malls. I'm so excited to see you. I'm so glad you came out, took time out of your day to do that. And that married with what they've been doing for however long, you know, whether it's 1 day or 7 months, you couple those two together and it's a home run. Like, they've been binging on Tilson for 2 months. I didn't know we had 700 pages on our website. So
Yeah, and then when you see how many times each day, it's fascinating. But watching the spike.
how little work they get done.
Yeah, right? So.
Sorry. End of rant. I'll let Pat continue if he wants to.
You know, when you meet somebody for the first time, you're kind of feeling them out, they're feeling you out. Then you start talking to them on the phone, emailing maybe, and then they come back for a visit, and your level of anticipation of them coming in builds, right? The further down the road you get. Well, if you can, that first visit to you guys, that your excitement about them being there needs to be up here, because their excitement is already right there, and you got to match it. Is how I would suggest it. Is just be like glad that you've been working with Carolyn and that she's answered some of your questions, and I'm just so excited. Just get that level of excitement, because that's where they're at. And if they're here and you come in here, they're gonna you're gonna go this, they're gonna go do this. Yeah.
Well, and a couple of points on that, just real quick as I'm thinking of this. First of all, if I ever misinform or if there's something that I'm not doing correctly, please do not hesitate. You will not hurt my feelings at all. Call me, email me. I don't care. Message me. Let me know something's up and just say, hey, I noticed that you said this and this customer thought that this was going to happen when they walked in. Please let me know that, because I don't know if you don't tell me. And like I said, you are not going to hurt my feelings. We want a good experience for them. The other thing along those lines is, do you convert the consultant that worked to train both Jana and I and the other 3 OSCs? I actually started in online sales in Las Vegas 10 years ago with their book. And that was my Bible, and that's how long these guys have been around. They know this business. I mean, all they do is online new home sales. So they know what they're talking about. One of the things that one of Mike's points is, people see a new situation as a threat, just inherently, unless you're super, super outgoing, but even the most outgoing of us, there's still some type of a threat there. When I walked in the door and I saw you guys all sitting here, that's not what I expected. And I was like, whoa, okay. When they've had a 30-minute conversation with me, that threat has gone from here down to here. So while the excitement is going from here to here, the threat's going from here to here. So they're walking in a lot less off their guard than they might be just walking in your door. Some of the stuff people tell me, and I don't know if it's because it's on the phone, but I mean, I've heard about divorces, and that's the sales office too. But it's like, whoa, and I, kind of hesitate sometimes to pass along, because I'm like, oh, that was really personal. I don't know if I should share that with you. But so Taylor, the template. So, and I don't know, this was automatically in my Outlook. If you don't have it, you might want to ask Desi to add it for you. But right up here in a new email.
Is it?
I don't have it.
Oh.
I need that, because it's all Word, so I'm copying and pasting.
Yes.
And it takes so long.
So I'll tell you, when I started with our CRM, because I wanted to change some templates, that's what I did. I had a Word doc and I was copying and pasting my emails. But then I found this, and it's an add-in, and I think you can go into like your settings on Outlook. I can send you some directions.
Yes,
I'll email you.
Please do.
But so basically what I did is I took the email that Pat sent to y'all, and here's how you do it real fast. You just hit template, name it, OSC appointment, copy Pat's email, paste it right there, make your changes to personalize it to yourself and say, this is Taylor and I'm here at Georgetown. Save it. And I've already done that right here. So that when you go to write your email, you just hit this and there it is. And so then you just have to fill in the blanks, change their name, customize. You're probably going to write a personalized sentence in there, but a lot easier than cutting and pasting.
Well, you're not going to write a lot of sentences, are you? How many sentences are you going to write?
5 max.
Right.
Yes, keep it short and sweet and
Do
simple.
do not write more than 5 sentences.
Nope, you'll lose them. In fact, the most effective emails are like 1 line.
Yeah.
Are you still interested in Tilson? I haven't heard from you in a while. That's one of our big ones that get people back on the hook. So that's a quick trick. I can email you. I will email you all a little recap of everything I kind of mentioned, and I'll put in a link to that and show you if you'd like to add that in there. But that's it.